single in the first. Watch out.
Look at this. Upton pops it up. Left side, Ellis Andrus' back penalty. He is under it. He puts it away. The Texas Rangers have won a postseason series.
The Texas Rangers are American League champions.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of Right on Rangers Live, coming at you after a 7-3 victory and series win over the Seattle Mariners. My goodness, that's how this team has been all year, man. Just such a weird team. Weird team. The game you thought arguably they would have the most trouble winning. George Kirby, the 1.25 ERA, whatever he had coming into this game against Texas, it was absurd. Rocker coming through with a big home start, a place that ironically, compared to last year and even the year before, Rocker just, notoriously a really good home pitcher, a bad road pitcher. It's actually been the exact opposite this year. He's been pretty good on the road, and he has been bad at Globe Life for whatever reason. I mean, I don't always think these things are super explainable. Kumar Rocker came to pitch today, and man, it saved the bullpen. I know you had to use Latz and Junis at the end. I do think we have to be consistent here. A bunch of us, myself included, were pissed off that Latz and Junis didn't get used yesterday. I definitely think in a 5-run game, the circumstances are a little different. I think there's an argument you could have potentially thrown Peyton Gray today and tried to get through that last inning without Latz. But, I mean, at that point, he had already been up. I get the idea of still using Latz today. I don't want to go in too hard on Skip because, look, if things go wrong in that 9th inning, I think that they actually explained it well on the broadcast. If you bring in Gray and he gives up 2 runs, you're going to use Latz anyways. Latz was already warm. I understand the concept. Now, had the Rangers been able to push it to 6 or 7, which I think they probably should have, Josh Smith had an opportunity late. I think that you could have made an argument that Latz definitely needs to sit down. Unfortunately, too, Latz ends up throwing 20-plus pitches, so probably not available tomorrow night. I mean, maybe, but probably not. And so for me, I don't want to go in too crazy on Skip today with the decision-making. I thought Junis was a fine move. I think there's an argument Gray could have been in over Latz, but you know what? At the end of the day, you got a series win, and that's huge. You figure Latz maybe is down tomorrow, and you have an opportunity to still go down to Tampa Bay and do some good things. I mean, look, I don't have a crazy amount of issue with Latz coming in the 9th inning. I just don't. I know some people are going to harp on that. I'm not saying that it's a perfect decision, but with Latz already having thrown, with the potential to have to put him in anyways, I'm all right with it. I don't think we needed to use Latz today. I don't think it was the worst decision in the world that we did. If I could kind of waffle a little bit and just kind of ride the fence slightly here, I don't think it's the worst decision to play Latz. I don't necessarily think it's the best one, but I think it made sense considering you're at a 5-run lead. He's already warm. He had already been throwing. And if Peyton Gray comes in and gives up a couple runs and gets into trouble, you're throwing him anyways. It's a tough call. It's not, I don't think it's super clear cut one way or the other, in my opinion. We can agree to disagree. I know I saw some people kind of chiding Skip online. In my mind, I thought give Peyton Gray a shot, but the other part of me kind of says, you know what, I don't hate the decision to put Latz in this ball game. Just wish he could have got through that inning a little more efficiently. I was really hoping Latz was going to give us one of those like 7-pitch inning specials where he just mows through the top of the ninth and it's a breeze. Wasn't really that, unfortunately, for Jacob Latz, but we get through the game. Let's focus on the positive, right? We won 3 out of 4 games against our this year, I think, most competitive division rival. I know the Astros are right there as well. Don't want to constantly count them out. I definitely feel like at this point now they are kind of the close second. So we look to see what the Astros do tonight. They are out in LA playing the Angels. That's going to be interesting. But I feel like this couldn't have been any better of a series beyond maybe getting the sweep. Who knows how today goes if you have to burn, Latz and Junis yesterday. It's hard to do the butterfly effect thing with baseball. But I will say this. You got 3 out of 4. That was more than what I expected. So could they have won 4 out of 4? Absolutely they could have. But the fact that they win 3 out of 4 is huge. I was going to be happy with 2 out of 4. I was going to be happy with a split. I was at least going to be, I would say, not panicking. Let me rephrase. I was at least going to be not panicking with a split. Definitely pumped that we are able to get 3 out of 4, man. I think that you just cannot understate how huge that is and was. Let's get into players of the game. Joc Pederson. I posed the question. I know we've been talking a lot about a potential Joc trade. I know that's not going to be a popular thing to say after today's game, but I still am sticking by it, y'all. I think Joc and what he's doing is huge. I've got to wonder if CY is licking his chops a little bit with maybe potentially getting some return on investment for Joc Pederson. I know that prisoner of the moment, or I should say prisoners of the moment, are not going to love the idea of trading away Joc Pederson. But I do think that games like today have clearly raised the stock. And it is going to be a tempting proposition to trade Joc. Very tempting. I think right now there would be a number of teams that would really love Joc's services in the NL. I don't think you trade Joc to an AL team. I think that's just asking for it. I think if you wanted to get some value, it would not be the worst thing in the world to get that done. Now, if you trade Corey Seager, which would be wild, but if they do, I don't know. I feel like don't trade both those dudes. Maybe they do, but you got to have somebody DH. Maybe it's Brandon Nimmo occasionally. There's some other lefties that they could probably throw in that mix, but I feel like you keep one or the other. I know some people are going to say, why trade Joc? Here's the reason you trade Joc. The reason you trade Joc is because he's on an expiring contract, and you're not going to pay him $18.5 million. I know it's a very foreign concept to some people, but I would submit, think about this a little bit less like a fan and more like a businessman. I don't think that it really takes a lot to figure out. The playoffs are not a lock for the Rangers here. Are they looking good right now? 100%. Absolutely, they're looking good right now. But are they a lock to make the playoffs? No. I mean, what else do we need to say? They're not a lock to make the playoffs at this point. And so, do you want to potentially miss the playoffs, keep Joc, and get nothing for him? Let him walk in free agency. That's the danger. When you could use Joc right now to potentially replenish at least a little bit of the farm system, which has been gutted in previous years. It's not a 0% chance. I do want to throw that out there. It's not a 0% chance, just like trading Corey Seager is not a 0%, definitely not going to do it. The more that I think about a Seager trade, the more I am definitely, I don't want to say wanting to see it happen, because I really don't. Seager should be a franchise guy that's around forever, but he's just not figuring it out with the bat and the injuries, more importantly. Now, it's Corey Seager. Could he get on a heater immediately after getting off of the IL? Probably. It's within the wheelhouse. It is within the wheelhouse. But I do think the more I mull it over, it makes sense, right? You've got an ability to actually trade Corey right now. You can trade Corey to 22 other teams. When the offseason hits, he's got a full no trade. He's got a full no trade. That, to me, is a very risky proposition. You know, you're trading him. It's kind of like a catch-22 in my mind. What you do with Corey Seager is probably going to be the biggest question at this deadline, I think. You can trade him. You can maybe find someone that's willing to eat a little bit of the contract, give you some good stuff back in return prospect-wise. I think that it's probably going to be Corey sticking around. If I had to just make a guess right now on what happens, I would probably tend to think that he sticks around and the Rangers take their chances. But some of these expiring contract guys, I do think are more tradable than what some fans think. You're not going to be thinking about trading a guy like Joc Pederson after a big performance like today. But you have to know that CY is mulling it over. Have to. There's no way Chris Young is not considering trading this guy and seeing what the market is for Joc. If somebody wants to overpay for a half season of Joc Pederson, you got to listen. You have to listen. Because I do think the Rangers, regardless of what happened today, can still make the playoffs without Joc Pederson. I think they could still go deep in the playoffs without Joc Pederson. And I know that sounds disrespectful, but the reality is Joc only plays part of the time. He plays part-time. He doesn't play against lefties. He plays against righties. You're going to face some good lefties in October. Look at Boston. Like Boston, you're going to be facing exclusively almost lefties. Crochet is injured, so that's one less lefty there. Look at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's throwing 2 lefties at us right now. We're going to be seeing 2 lefties in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's going to make the playoffs. My point to you is this with Joc Pederson, and let's move on from Joc because we've talked about him a lot. If a team stacks a couple lefties against us in a playoff round, you're not even using Joc. You're not even using him. You're not going to bat Joc against a top lefty starter. Yes, I would. Moses, I would. This is my biggest, I think the biggest point I could make to you guys beyond the expiring contract is if we go up against 2 lefties in a row in a 3-game playoff series, which is what the Rangers are going to be playing in, your best DH option is going to be sitting on the bench. Because we're not starting Joc Pederson against lefties. The logic is what I just said. I don't understand how else I can explain it. And I don't mean that rudely. He's on an expiring contract, meaning he's not coming back next year. I don't think they're picking up the $18.5 million options. And if you go up against 2 lefties in a row in a playoff series, Joc isn't even playing. He's not even playing. So what? You've got a great bench option in Joc Pederson? Again, think about Tampa Bay. They've got multiple good lefties. Red Sox, multiple good lefties. Think about some of the other teams in the AL with good lefty starters. That's kind of the idea, Swolger. If Seager comes back, you're basically putting Seager in the DH spot. And I'm sure that he's going to play the field a little bit too. But the thing, if you do trade Joc, you have automatically the case for Seager and the case for Nimmo being the lefty DH, which Who's going to be mad at that? Nobody. And if you go get a bat, you go get a Rise, you go get even somebody else, lower level, lower tier, maybe you go add another outfielder, and now you're cooking with gas. I don't think that it's crazy. I know some fans after a 2 home run game, actually, it feels pretty tame. We got a few people that aren't picking up what I'm throwing down, but that's okay. But I'm actually pleasantly surprised at how many people are actually at least seeing my view on this. At least seeing my view on this. All right, we keep going. Let me see if I can get some comments here. I appreciate all you guys hanging out. Hope you guys are having a good one. We are definitely going to keep on rolling with whatever you guys want to talk about. I've got a few things along the way. I'm sure we're going to go a number of different directions. Hey, Coach, I don't know if you're still hanging out. Yeah, somebody said, keep Joc, you're crazy. You play to win the game championship. Yeah, I don't think that trading Joc keeps you away from a championship. Joc, again, is going to get sat on the bench if you go up against top lefties in October. That to me is enough to consider trading him, along with the fact that you're on an expiring contract with Joc. And if you trade Joc, you can dump some salary as well with that, which might allow you to take on some salary in other areas, right? Think about what the Rangers really need. They really need a bullpen piece. You go and get a bullpen guy that's signed to a nice contract. Rangers don't really want to take on salary at the deadline. Trading Joc opens up some salary for you. So I think I've given 3 different reasons why it makes sense, why Joc could potentially be traded. If you're just going to turn your nose up at all 3 of them and not even consider them, I mean, we can just agree to disagree. I'm not going to be mad at anybody about it, but I don't think that you can sit around and just put your head in the sand when it comes to trading Joc. Yeah, it was great today. If they keep him, I'm not going to be mad. I want to make that really clear. Keeping Joc Pederson is not going to piss me off. But I do think that there's a pretty sound logical argument to trading him. I think that you can fill the DH spot with Corey Seager, Brandon Nimmo, and other players as well. Josh Young. I think opening up the DH spot actually makes a lot of sense. We've talked about this a number of different times. Trading Foscue, trading Joc, I think should 100% be on the table. You don't need to have 2 guys taking up 1 DH spot. So that's at least my opinion. You don't have to agree. That's the beautiful thing about this show. This isn't an echo chamber, and that's what I love about it. I love being able to talk different opinions with you guys. I personally don't agree with the notion that we don't need a bat at all. I've seen a couple of people, as the comments scroll through, I've seen a couple of people say we don't need to get a bat. I would disagree. I do think 1 more bat would be nice, whether it's a Rise, whether it's, a guy from the Giants. Casey Schmidt is another dude that I've really, really liked over the course of the season. I think it might be expensive to go get a player like that, but I do think the Rangers could benefit from 1 more bat. We've seen how this goes, right? Like today, it looked really, really good. Looked really good today. And then we've seen in the next breath that the team looks like they can't hit a beach ball. So for me, I would like to go get 1 more bat just to create an additional layer of consistency. This is a team that can look amazing in one breath and look really bad in another. Off of a win like this, I know that the prisoner of the moment concept is we don't need a bat. We're good. We're plenty in terms of offense. I don't really see it the same way. I think 1 more bat would really be helpful when you're thinking about advancing deep into October. Keep going. Appreciate all you guys hanging out. Nate, what's good, my guy? Thanks for being patient. How do I feel we do in the next 2 series against Tampa Bay and Houston? We'll preview a little bit more the Tampa Bay series a little later in the show, but I would really be okay. I know this is not going to shock you. My take is not going to shock you, but on the road, okay, Tampa Bay, Houston, you're playing away from Globe Life. Rangers are slightly a worse road team compared to playing at home. If you could just go 3-3, I would probably be okay with that. So, you know what? If they win a series, lose a series, I'll be all right with that. Winning the Mariners series today, I think, took less pressure, took off some pressure, I should say, the Rangers needing to win both of these series. I don't think you need to win both of these series. I mean, look, this would be great. You don't get swept by Tampa Bay and you win the series in Houston. Lord Tubbington, 100%, we're in lockstep on this. I think, obviously, we all want to see them win the series in Houston or sweep the series in Houston. I'll just say, taking the emotion out of it, taking the Houston rivalry out of it, if we could just win a series, lose a series, 3-3, bare minimum. Obviously, I want to see them sweep both of these series and go on a little 7-game win streak here. Of course. But if we can just go 3-3 in some way, shape, or form, 3-3 this week, you'll take that. Right now, the Rangers, as they sit, they are 2 games above 500. Okay, if you can go 3-3 and be 57-55 going into the trade deadline, you'll take that. Now, the Astros series would obviously be the one that you're really hoping that they win because they're a division opponent and they're right on our tail. But just go 3-3. Don't be a loser this week. Don't go 2-4. 3-3 or better. That, to me, is what I am going to be setting my expectation, my bar at. The basement is 3-3. Obviously, you go 4-2, 5-1, 6-0. I mean, man, that would be incredible. Let's go 3-3. And then we head back to Arlington after the trade deadline with a couple of new shiny toys, and we call it a day. That would be my expectation for this week. Winning the Astros series, David, what's good, man? Appreciate you hanging out, brother. Yeah, winning the Astros series is huge. Winning the Astros series is absolutely huge. Mariners fan here, hats off. You guys bullied us and wanted to more go in the division. Hey, Rob, appreciate you, man. I don't think the division is over for the Mariners or for, the Astros. The Rangers, one thing that they've lacked this year, and I think you can relate to this, Mariners have lacked in this way too, just consistency. Consistency, man. Like, you just haven't seen the Rangers be consistently good over a long period of time. They can win 3 or 4 in a row, and then they can lose 3 or 4 in a row, and you're just not shocked. So for me, I'm not completely taking a victory lap here. If anything, the opposite. I'm mentally preparing myself for the ups and downs that may come in the rest of the season. Mariners do have a bit of a tough schedule coming up. I did see that. Adding Kevin Gausman would definitely be the type of move that I wouldn't mind seeing the club make. I've been very clear. You don't need to get an ace. Like, you don't need to go get Tarek Skubal. If they do, am I going to be upset? No. I've got Tarek Skubal wearing Ranger red, white, and blue, baby. One of the best pitchers in the game. I'll take that. I mean, look, that's like shades of the Cliff Lee trade back in 2010, baby. But I think the Rangers realistically just need to get a guy that is not so volatile. Like Kumar Rocker, been great over the past couple of starts, right? Do we really trust that he might not have a couple more bumps along the way the rest of the year and in a playoff spot? Yeah. I don't think anybody is feeling 100% good against Rock. I think that you have definitely got to at least see what's out there, see what deals you could possibly make. I know a Singer from Baltimore has gotten brought up a little bit as well. There's a couple other names out there that I think are interesting. The Rangers would be wise, I think, to consider what could we potentially get out there to improve the basement of our starting pitching. You know that you've got some high-end potential with DeGrom and Eovaldi. How can we improve the basement? That's my thing. We keep rolling here. Appreciate you guys. I would argue bullpen help is more important than starting pitching. Yeah, me too. I think they need to prioritize getting a bullpen piece. After that, it would be a bat for me, and then starting pitching would be last. I do think that you might see the Rangers not add a bat. I do think that's a real possibility. I think they're at least going to go out there and get a bullpen arm or two. That to me is obviously what the Rangers are going to take care of first. I don't think that there's any question that is the number one priority on the Rangers list this year for the trade deadline. We keep rolling. All in the development, win or lose this year. Well, exactly, right? We've talked about how the young guys on this team are really going to determine whether or not there's a rebuild. Wyatt Langford, he's looking great right now. If he launches himself into superstardom, truly, some people I know might be thinking he's already there. I would say he's working his way there. He's shown you flashes. But again, let's go back to that word consistency. Do it for a long period of time. Do it for not necessarily a whole season. That's hard to do, but I mean, do it for a majority of the season. And then Evan Carter, that's another name. Is Evan Carter going to continue to do what he's done over the past several weeks, which is swing a much better bat? Obviously, he's got a great glove. We know that. Mistakes happen out in the field. The other day with the drop, that's a ball that probably not a lot of other center fielders get to, but we know that Evan Carter's defense, the elite level that it is, probably a ball he needs to get to. Nevertheless, the bat's been much, much better. And that, I think, is more important than anything we could fixate on with the defense. He's been swinging a better bat. Very encouraging. And I think what Rangers fans need to understand is Evan Carter coming into this year was expected to be this kind of bat. A guy that's going to hit doubles and going to find a way to get on base with the walk. And he's going to put the ball in play and not be a strikeout guy. These are the kinds of things that the Rangers expected out of Evan Carter this year. If you can get Evan Carter and Wyatt Langford both above average, and Wyatt Langford more so than Evan Carter, I think we've seen Wyatt pull himself out ahead of EC in that way. This is still a really good lineup, can still be a really good lineup, even when you've got some of the older guys maybe ticking down in performance or leaving in free agency. And then Walcott, that's the trio for me right there. Look, I know there's JJ, I know there's Duran, but the guys with the highest upside, in my opinion, are Walcott, Carter, and Langford. If you can get those three dudes really clicking, I don't think you have to do a rebuild. I don't think it has to be a rebuild. If you get those guys lagging or dealing with injuries or underperforming, I think it gets a little more dicey. Gets a lot more dicey. So I am very interested to see what happens over the next, let's just say over the next month or so, right? You're going to have the trade deadline coming up here in about a week's time. That's going to be curious. I am very interested to see what this team is going to do over the next month. What some of the guys coming back from injury are going to do. You're going to have some call-ups. The rosters are going to expand. It's going to be really interesting what happens with this team. Yeah, Carter hitting the ball hard today. He's close to 200. Not hitting infinite pop-ups. It's huge. It's really huge. I am very much a guy that's been hard on Evan Carter this year. And I think that it's fair because the expectations for him are supposed to be high. The expectations for Evan Carter were never supposed to be, hey, this is just a really good glove. It's a really good glove. Who cares what he's doing with the bat? He brings you elite defense. That was never the expectation for Evan Carter coming into this year. The expectation, let's be real about that. The expectation for Evan Carter this year was everyday player, right? You remember that way back in spring training when they were vehement that Carter was going to be in the lineup every single day? Remember? That was the bar. So I think what people get twisted about me and Evan Carter, a lot of people assume I'm a hater, just don't like the guy. It's not the case. What bugs me the most about the Evan Carter debate is people moving the goalposts for Carter. Remember, this is a top prospect. This is a guy that was supposed to play every day. This is a guy who was supposed to be an offensive contributor, not just a shiny platoon player who can play really good defense. That is the entire angle with me and Evan Carter. And I've been very clear today, too. If he can become the player that the Rangers expected him to be this year, that is in the best interest of the club. I'm surely not rooting against the best interest of the club. Absolutely not rooting against that. And so a lot of people on the surface are going to take the criticism that I give of Evan Carter as hatred, trolling, whatever. It's not. Anytime Evan Carter does something well, you know I'm posting about it. Today, I posted about Evan Carter and how he's close to 200. The average keeps ticking up. I didn't mean that in any kind of way of throwing shade. I'm genuinely happy for the guy. And I want to see him continue to be better and better with the bat, not just great out in the field with the glove. We knew that already. We knew that in 23 when the dude is making the catch of his life in Houston as a rookie. We knew he had a good glove, right? We also knew the bat was upside too, was good. And so I'm glad to see Evan Carter doing his thing. I really want to see him continue to work his way back to that above average hitter that we all know he can be. We all know he can be that. Yeah, this was the comp, honestly, that I made, right? The last thing that I want is for the bar for Evan Carter to be at Leody Taveras. Like, God bless Leody, but Leody was a top prospect. The Rangers said he was untouchable. Remember, they wouldn't trade Leody in any kind of scenario. And then they brought him up and they started making him a glorified platoon player. And, you know, the defense for Leody was good in 23 and even in 24. The defense for Leody fell off a cliff in 25. A lot of Rangers fans, you know, forget revisionist history. Like, Leody had a good glove. And then what happened is the glove fell off a cliff and his bat wasn't good. And so for me, I don't want to see Evan Carter become Leody 2.0. I made a video about this probably like a month and a half, 2 months ago. I don't want to see Leody 2.0 with Evan Carter. If you're CY, should you look? We already got through that comment. Let's see. Craig Gentry was supposed to be something, but was only platoon. Sounds like Evan is Craig, just a little more pop. Demon Hunter Cars, appreciate the comment. That's what I don't want him to become. I do not want fans to hype up so much. His glove, it doesn't matter. His glove, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it does. It's the top prospect, man. Come on now. Let's keep the bar high. Let's appreciate the good defense, but let's all acknowledge the bat has to be better. Simple as that. Simple as that. All right, we keep going. If Carter can consistently smoke liners like he did today, he's going to be dangerous, and he might actually supersede what Young has done this year. Wow. Yeah, the only reason, like, some people I know commented, and guys, understand, I've got a ton of different stuff going on, plate spinning right now with comments and stuff. So I know some of you guys can't see all like the Instagram comments and the YouTube and the TikTok and all that. But, you know, I know some people have wondered in the past, like, why I won't throw Josh Young into the mix of like foundational players. I just think Young is very one-dimensional right now, and Carter, Langford, Walcott are not, right? They're the antithesis of that. They are good out in the field. Wyatt Langford is a great outfielder. There's an argument that he is a better fielder than Evan Carter, I think. I know that shocks some people when I say that, but I really feel like you dig into the advanced stats. Wyatt Langford is one of the best outfielders in the game. He doesn't get a chance to show that off all the time playing left field, but he is. Gets great jumps, elite with the speed, good route runner. There's a lot to like about Wyatt Langford's glove. Now, Sebastian Walcott, freak of nature, freak athlete, good arm. There's a lot to like about multiple facets of these players in their games. Josh Young, to me, is a bit of a one-trick pony right now. He can hit. He really can't do a whole lot else super well. He's not a great base runner. He's not fast. The glove is not good. And so I don't think that Josh Young is the foundational player that players like Evan Carter, Wyatt Langford, Sebastian Walcott should be going forward. Hey, Zach, what's good, man? Thank you so much for the gift. I appreciate the generosity, man. Not needed, but much appreciated, brother. You're always too kind, man. The comment here says, favorite moment of the weekend was seeing Robbie Alstrom get out of some big moments. Man, this is a perfect comment. Great segue. I've talked a little bit about Robbie Alstrom through my tweets and through my posts today and yesterday. You know, Robbie is a good dude, and I know that that doesn't matter to some people. In fact, somebody blocked me last night on X. Freaking hilarious what people will block you over, man. But they were like, I commented, man, Cole Winn is a good dude, but he's just not having a super great year. And basically, it was just me being positive. Like, man, good dude, having a tough year. Not sure what his future is. It's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't sometimes. Excuse my French. I know that's not bad language to everybody, but like I can't always win, right? I hope that all these guys can figure it out, Cole Winn included. I know a lot of people are ready to get rid of Cole Winn, but you know, I said in response, like somebody was like, what does being a good dude matter? Well, it's my opinion, and, you know, it's my account, so I kind of fire off whatever I want to fire off. If you don't think that matters, good for you, right? But I really like some of these guys, and I hope that they do well. It doesn't always work out. Robbie Alstrom, been following him for a couple of years. I think he's a good dude, and I hope that he's able to stay up on the major league level, but I don't see a super great path for him. Think about it, right? You've got Marco Gonzalez that you're probably going to DFA, and then it pretty much comes down to like Alstrom and Peoples. And the thing is, with Alstrom and Peoples, they're going to have a lot of lefties in the pen, man. They're going to have a lot of lefties. And I know this is a bad word for some of you guys, but like Robert Garcia is coming back. They are going to bring Robert Garcia back. In fact, they've already talked about him starting to throw again. Robert Garcia is coming back into the fold. And so I don't know if you want that many lefties out in the pen. You've got Latz, you know, you've got Alexander. You're going to have Bradford or Montgomery. You're going to have Garcia. Do you really want a fifth lefty out in the pen? Like, I just don't know. I think it might be kind of a numbers game there. Do we really want 5 lefties out in the pen? And I don't want to send Alstrom down. I don't want to send him down. But Peoples has been pretty solid. I know he gave up the home run on a really actually pretty good pitch. When was that? That was like multiple series ago. Peoples has been really solid. I just think it's a numbers game with Robbie. Hey, Demon Hunter Cars, appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for the jewels. Man, that means a lot. Again, not needed, but much appreciated, brother. Thank you so much. Appreciate you hanging out today. Let's keep on rolling. What other comments did I miss here? Mason Miller should be our closer. Demon Hunter Cars. I got to agree in that Mason Miller on this team sounds very tantalizing, but I just don't think the Rangers are going to give up the equity. I don't think they are going to give up the farm and the things that they built up in the farm for Mason Miller. And the Padres, I think, are going to be waiting for that King's ransom deal. I don't think they're just going to take anything. Let's see. Pineapple G coming to the stadium on the 5th. That's awesome. David, what's good, my guy? David says, bye, Garcia. I know a lot of people probably wouldn't mind parting ways with Robert Garcia, but I'm telling you, the club is hell-bent on bringing him back, just like they were with Chris Martin. So I don't see any scenario where Chris Martin doesn't come, or excuse me, where Robert Garcia doesn't come back. I really don't. Let's see. We're only 2 games above 500, but I thought this season was done in June. I was ready to fire sale. I've been pretty consistent. Like, I've never said fire sale. You know what I have said all year long? Like, stop being in the gray area. Don't do the 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Either go all in or at least some kind of tier of all in. You don't necessarily have to trade Walcott. Either go all in and trade some of the top prospects, or trade some guys and rebuild the farm system. The halfway in, halfway out thing, yeah. Look, could Josh Young turn it around with the glove? Yes, he could. Do I want to see another season of Josh Young at third base? No, I don't. I would love if they could figure out a way to transition Josh into more of a first base DH type role. The Rangers have to get more athletic at third base. And Josh is not getting any younger. If this was think about Evan Carter, right? Evan Carter is 23. If Josh Young was 23, I would feel a lot differently. I would actually support this opinion. But Josh Young is going to be 29 at the start of next year. Now, 29 is by no means over the hill. I think Josh is still in the prime of his athletic career, but that's what concerns me. You're in the prime of your athletic career right now in your late 20s. Once you hit that 30, 31, you can still be good. You can still be above average. You could even still be elite, but it's not going to get a whole lot better than that. It concerns me that JJ has taken this much of a fall defensively in arguably the prime years of his career. And so that's a big reason why I push back and I say, man, I just do not know if the Rangers want to do another full season with Josh Young at the hot corner. I think they've got to be talking about it. I would love to see JJ stick around. I don't think he needs to be traded, although trading him could potentially open up more for you as a team. You don't have to be pigeonholed to DHing Josh Young or playing him at first base, making him learn a brand new position. I don't know. Look, the more that I do this job, the more I'm open to the business side of it. I know that a lot of fans have their favorites, myself included. I mean, I love Alejandro Osuna. You guys know this. Look, I'm a JJ fan. I can't say I'm like, get Josh Young off the team. But I guess the more I do this, the more I see how the wheels turn behind the scenes with the business side. I don't get it right every time. I'm not trying to say that I do. But I don't think it is like an untouchable situation with Josh Young either. Being ridiculous that loss yesterday, Blake says still stings. 4-game sweep would have been huge. Look, I think Skip got a little greedy yesterday. The quote that Evan Grant came out with essentially was like, Skip was hoping to save Junis and Latz for tomorrow, so that's why he didn't use them yesterday. I don't love that strategy either. The 4-game sweep would have been great, but I'll take 3 out of 4. I will take 3 out of 4. What else? What else we got? Let's see. See if I missed anything. I think we're doing all right. You guys are talking about trading Seager in the YouTube chat. We kind of talked about that already. I might circle back to it. I see more of the reasoning for trading Corey. I do. Easton, appreciate you stopping by. Yeah, look, we'll take the series win. We will take the series win. Keep rolling. Rob B, nothing could be further from the truth. The comment was, it seems like I don't like this team and I always want to trade everyone all the time. I think that's a little unfair. I think just because I'm sitting here giving you my analysis, telling you who I think is untouchable and who isn't, that doesn't make you not a fan of the team. Come on now. Let's scratch a little below the surface. That's kind of a surface level pot shot. We don't really need to go there, man. I love the team. Why would I sit out in my 100-degree garage every single day talking about this team if I didn't love them? Like, say things out loud sometimes. Like, why would I do this if I didn't love this team? There'd be no reason for me to dedicate this much time to this ball club if I didn't love the Rangers and want to see them do well. Sometimes you have to make tough trades, man. Sometimes you have to trade guys, and it's not always fun, but you got to do it so the team can be better. Like, it's as simple as that. I think some people really get in their feelings when you start talking about trading certain players. And you have to understand that that's not how the front office views it. The front office isn't getting overly emotional about some of these players. The front office is trying to figure out if they want to trade franchise legend Corey Seager right now. Yeah, look, exactly. The comment is, I love this team. but it doesn't mean I don't see the benefit of maybe moving off of Jake Berger or Joc Pederson. Like, look, you can upgrade from first base right now. You can upgrade in a number of different ways, but sometimes you have to be willing to trade players to do it. I mean, look, I personally don't love every single trade this club has ever made. Like, I can remember as a kid, I didn't like the A-Rod trade. By the way, A-Rod's birthday today, I posted about that. I know some of y'all don't like A-Rod. And when I was in middle school, high school, I think I was a freshman or a sophomore in high school when A-Rod got signed. And that was like the greatest day of my life, and up to that point. The best hitter, the best player in the game, in my opinion, Alex Rodriguez, signs with Texas. Today, his birthday, he had a grand slam. I think it was 24 years ago today, a walk-off grand slam on his birthday. Go watch the clip. It's a fun clip for me still. I mean, I know A-Rod's story and what transpired after. A lot of Rangers fans totally turned off to the guy, but look, I'm still a fan. I hated when they traded A-Rod. Hated it. And it was sad. Like, I was upset that they traded him. And that was in the moment, right? That was me as a fan in the moment. I hated when they traded Kinsler. I didn't like when they traded Kinsler. I saw the reasoning, though. Like, you had young guys coming up. You had Jurickson Profar. You had, obviously, Elvis Andrus. You had guys coming up, and you saw an opportunity to go get Prince Fielder. It didn't work out. Like, there's been a number of trades across the history of the Rangers that I haven't enjoyed. But you can look back on it and see what they were trying to do. You can't keep everybody, man. The Kins trade killed me. I hated the Kins trade when it happened. Now, looking back on it, 13 years later, I can see what they were thinking. Like, they were thinking, okay, we got Profar, we got Andrus, we got those two guys up the middle. We can trade Kinsler and get some pop at first base in Prince Fielder. Now, again, Prince Fielder, I actually loved watching Prince in a Rangers uniform. But, the injury sucked, and he obviously had to retire early, and that was brutal. So brutal. But you just are not always going to be able to keep all the fan favorites. And so on this show, we choose to talk about the uncomfortable scenarios. You think it was comfortable to talk about trading Kinsler back in the early 2010s? No, it wasn't. There was probably a bunch of fans that'd be doing exactly what some of y'all are doing to me right now. What? They're never going to trade Kinsler. They're never going to move off of Ian. It happens, man. It's a business. It's a business. Michael Young, Trent, I got to agree with you. I hated that they traded Mike Young. I know that Mike Young and the front office were butting heads, and it makes me laugh how some Rangers fans get like really pretentious about Mike Young. Oh, he's not a good teammate. He has to be traded. Come on now. Come on now. Mike Young still, regardless of getting moved around the field like 10 different times, I'm exaggerating, he showed up, and you know what? I always will gravitate towards, look at how the teammates treated Mike Young. When Mike Young was hitting walk-offs, they were mobbing him. Teammates loved MY. And so the fans that get upset about, Mike Young asking for trades, first of all, Mike Young is loyal to himself first before he's loyal to a team that clearly is going to do what's best for them. And they did, right? They signed Beltre. Mike Young, you're moving. You're moving off third base. They brought up Elvis Andrus. Mike Young, you're moving. Mike Young is entitled to do what's best for himself, and I don't hold that against him. But you know what? Don't say he's a bad teammate because he wanted some trades here and there in his career. The team still loved him. They did. The Lee Smoke deal was worthless. Yeah, that's right. Justin Smoke traded to the Mariners in the Cliff Lee deal. Look, there's a number of guys that over the years the Rangers have parted ways with. Look, the Chris Davis, got rid of Chris Davis. He went on to crush it in Baltimore. I know he had a brutal finish to his career, but man, Chris Davis in some of those Baltimore years, that dude was a beast. We could go on and on and on, but let's bring it back full circle. It's okay to talk about trading players. You can't keep everybody. And sometimes to make the team better, you have to trade somebody that might be somebody's favorite. It sucks, but it's the way it goes in baseball. It is the way that it goes. Keep going. Let's see. Yeah, Demon Hunter Cards. The fielder for Kinsler trade really wasn't terrible. Like it was just hard because Kinsler was so beloved. I say often, I know you guys maybe saw this post from me already, but there's a big debate about Corey Seager. Like, do you retire his number? I've actually found it's pretty divided. Some fans are not at all for, retiring Corey's number, and some are. I actually, when I think about the number 5, I think about Kinsler before I think about Corey Seager. But that's just me and my experience. I know it might be different for younger fans, but man, the number 5, I think about Kins before I think about Corey. Just being totally real with you. And that's no disrespect to Corey. He's a great player. Franchise. I mean, look, World Series MVP. It's awesome. Teixeira trade. Oh, yeah. Teixeira trade at the time was another one that hurt for me because I really liked Mark Teixeira. Now, I know some people, he was a jerk, whatever. I didn't know about I don't know every ins and outs of what these guys are like behind the scenes. Social media has created a much different environment for that. You kind of get a much better, clearer idea of what some of these guys are like because of it. But back then, yeah, Teixeira, dude, was awesome. Gold Glover, raked from both sides of the plate. But the Teixeira trade set up the 2010-2011 World Series appearances. I really believe that. Yep. The Big Tex trade. That's an example. Like, I don't want to say it's perfect, but like, we got people worried about trading Josh Young. We traded Mark Teixeira, who's better than Josh Young. Like, that's to me, I think some of this stuff you again, I say this a lot, but just say things out loud. Like, we traded Josh Young. We traded Michael Young. We traded Mark Teixeira. We traded Michael Young. We traded Ian Kinsler. And we got people balking at trading Josh Young or trading Jake Berger. Come on now. It's a business. You got to talk about it sometimes. All right, we keep going. Appreciate all you guys. Let's keep on rolling. Doing pretty well. Okay, cool. Yeah, Tex did get traded to the Braves, and then got traded to the Angels, and yeah, he made it around the block. That's for sure. Elvis definitely was a good comeback for Tex. That is for sure. Elvis is a guy most people are going to remember for a long, long time. Tex trade might have been the best trade ever returned. Yeah, look, it was absolutely a good trade, I think, long term. I think it benefited the Braves. I know that ultimately they traded him away, and I don't know if they really got anything crazy back for him when they traded him to the Angels. I would have to go back and look, but either way. What if the Rangers kept Joc? I don't think that would be the worst thing. Like, if the trade deadline passes and Joc Pederson's still on the roster, I'm not going to be boo-hooing about it. I'm going to be like, you know what? I might have considered trading him, but they kept him. Let's ride. That's the kind of fan I am, though. Like, you're not going to see me railing against that. Now, let's just do a worst case scenario. You keep Joc and then he crashes and burns in the second half after the trade deadline or the last 2 months. That would be painful. That would be really, really painful. Marcus, I don't think there's any way they're picking up the $18.5 million option. I don't think there's any way they're picking that up. Maybe, but I just don't see it. I don't see it. Part-time player, aging, bad 2025. I don't know that Joc is getting $18.5 million on the open market. That would be a big surprise to me. And I would not be in favor of the Rangers investing $18.5 million into a part-time player. I think the Rangers need to spend that money. They need to spend that money elsewhere. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Blake, I think a lot of people feel this way. My pushback would just be, again, if Joc Pederson goes up against a team that has multiple lefties in a playoff series, which you look at the AL teams, there's some rotations that have multiple lefties. He's not playing. And so I do think that it is tough with Joc Pederson if you're going up against the Red Sox rotation, which has multiple good lefties. Joc isn't even going to play. And so that is why I've been very consistent. Like, I think you can still win games without Joc Pederson. Is he nice to have? Yes, of course. Nobody's saying he's not. But Joc might not even play in a game 1, game 2 if a team loads up double lefties game 1, game 2. Is it still worth it? I would submit to you, I don't know. Like, think about it. Let's say we play the Yankees. We play the Yankees round 1, right? They're going to throw Cole, Fried, and aren't they going to probably throw Rodon? Isn't that their top 3? Maybe Schlittler, he'll be in the mix. But the Yankees have multiple lefties that they're going to throw at us. Tampa Bay is going to throw 2 lefties at us right now. And by the way, wild card round is a 3-game set. So you're telling me that potentially Joc Pederson is going to get sat in 2 games of a 3-game series? That's tough. And that's why I say it might make more sense to trade him than not. Antonio says, I'd hate to see Young get traded. Antonio, what's good, my guy? Good to see you always, bro. But I still don't think even if he stays here, he'd be here long-term since he's a Scott Boras client. Well, yeah, that's another thing. And Josh Young has, 2 years left? 3 years left? Matt, thank you. Like, this is all I'm saying. I think some people, again, every time I talk about trading somebody, people get pissed off and think I automatically hate someone. I don't. I like Joc. I think he's had a great year. It's been a really good year. But the prospect of him getting benched 2 out of 3 games in a playoff series because a team throws multiple left-handers at us, that scares me. That scares me. What about the 50 games leading up to it? He might only play in 30. That would be, again, another counter argument, Blake. What if we face 20 left-handed starters? Joc's only going to play in 30 of those games. Like, that's the tough part. That is the reason why I'm okay letting it go. And again, you do have to get there first, but you're only going to have him for probably 60%, maybe 65% of those games. So yeah, absolutely. Agree to disagree. I don't think that Joc Pederson is a necessary part of getting to October. That might be a hot take, but that is how I feel. I feel like the Rangers can still make it to the playoffs without him. Absolutely can. I think they've got a good enough team to get it done. And you know what? How painful would it be if you don't make it and you hung on to Joc Pederson just hoping that it would all work out? We'll see. Good pitching affords us to keep winning games with lineup guys down. Today, absolutely, with Kumar Rocker. Absolutely, man. That was huge. Kumar Rocker today was huge. Not a problem letting JJ go, but please get a splash back for me. No problem with trading Joc. Yep. The only untouchables to me, let me just be clear on this. The only untouchables to me, Wyatt Langford, Sebastian Walcott. And you know what? I really hesitate on this one. I don't want to see Evan Carter get traded. This year, I wouldn't mind if the club tried to upgrade, but I don't really want to see Evan Carter get traded. That to me would be a big risk. I know some people are ready to trade Carter. I'm actually not. I don't want to see him get traded. I think that he has still got a higher ceiling to reach. However, I think you could try to upgrade the outfield this year, and that would be okay. That would be all right. Let's see. If you hang on to everybody and you don't make the playoffs, yeah, Seager trade in the offseason would be a lot trickier. Rangers have been linked to Marte. Did I see Marte like deleted all Diamondback stuff off his Instagram? I think that is a real thing. So we'll see what happens with Ketel Marte. Blake says you take Joc out of the lineup against a righty without Young and Seager, it's over. Yeah, but Young is going to be back. I mean, Young is going to be back. I think Seager is going to be back. And so let's just go back to my argument. You basically, at this point, if you traded Joc, you're basically just replacing him with Corey Seager. I think when you say it out loud like that, is that really that bad? No, I don't think it is. You're basically replacing Joc Pederson with Corey Seager. Oh, OMG. That's the worst thing ever. Like, I don't know. I will take Corey Seager for Joc Pederson. Like, I know Corey has not been playing well. We sat through a terrible 2025 with Joc Pederson. I'll take my chances with Corey Seager. Are we sure about Corey Seager coming back healthy? I'm pretty sure he's going to do a rehab assignment probably tomorrow or Wednesday. Yeah, I mean, I think he's probably going to be back this weekend, unless something doesn't go poorly. Now, Blake, where I think you and I can get on the same page is if Corey Seager's out for the season, then I do think the argument to keep Joc is much, much stronger. If you believe, though, that Corey is going to come back and that he's not going to get hurt again, which is a big risk, then I do think it makes a lot more sense to potentially entertain keeping him. It's going to be interesting. He's not hitting well. Is it 180, 10 homers? He's not hitting well. We'll see what happens. I'm going to go glass half full on Corey Seager, though. Wynn and Carter for Trout, no way they're doing that deal. No way they're doing that deal. Yeah, I don't think they're trading Evan Carter. I just think he's too valuable. I don't think they're going to trade Evan. Hey, let's preview the series real quick for Tampa Bay. I know we could do potential trade talk forever. By the way, we will most likely be doing a trade deadline show. I'm going to see what I can pull off, but I'm hopeful we can do a trade deadline show and we can talk about the last 30, 45 minutes, see what deals go down. It's going to be an interesting next week of baseball. By the way, Rangers have not announced a starter. I would think they go Cal Quantrill. Maybe they go Tyler Alexander opener again, but I would think that they would be throwing Cal tomorrow in some way, shape, or form with maybe Alexander coming in front or behind him. That to me would be the most logical choice, but we'll see what they decide to do. Yeah, to me, Langford, Walcott, untouchable. Carter, kind of a borderline, but I would probably not trade Carter either. Everybody else, to me, I mean, Evaldi, DeGrom, if you're trying to win now, obviously you're not going to trade those guys. But there's a lot of other dudes that I think are guys you could trade. Not selling low, not just giving them away, but I think if you see an opportunity to upgrade, there's a number of positions the Rangers could upgrade. All right, we keep rolling. Jax is throwing, by the way, for Tampa Bay, righty. So we will see the lefty lineup. But then I think Wednesday, Thursday are lefties, if I'm not mistaken. We'll preview the series real quick. Berger, 1 for 6 against Jax. Duran, 0 for 2. Diaz has an AB, but he walked in that AB. Langford, 0 for 1. Nicky Lopez, 2 for 8. Nimmo, 0 for 3. Josh Smith, 0 for 3. By the way, somebody was commenting about Cam Cauley, like why does Smith start over Cauley? I don't know. I think that they're running out of reasons to keep playing Josh Smith over Cam Cauley. But I think the lefty righty thing is probably what's keeping it there. All right, let's keep going here with other matchups. The rest of the weekend, we'll see what is planned. We've got, looks like on Wednesday, they're going to be starting. Oh, not posted yet. Wednesday, Thursday. Thursday, by the way, early game. That is an 11:10 a.m. game for you guys in Texas on Thursday, the getaway day before the Rangers go to Houston. So that's all we got for now. I guess we'll have to preview more tomorrow night when they play. Who is tradable right now? Depends. I would say if you're trying to win, don't trade DeGrom, don't trade Evo, don't trade Corey. I do understand the reasoning for Corey getting thrown out there, being on the trading block. But if you're trying to win right now, don't trade Corey, don't trade Evan Carter, don't trade Wyatt Langford, don't trade DeGrom, don't trade Evo. Anybody on an expiring contract, I think you should consider trading, but you don't have to. There's a lot of guys on expiring contracts that definitely are playing well. You know, Jacob Junis, Tyler Alexander, Joc Pederson. You've got obviously Kyle Higashioka, who's injured, probably not going to get traded. I would absolutely consider trading anybody that's on an expiring contract. I don't think those guys are making or breaking things. Jacob Junis, I'm probably trying to keep, though. I think he's pitched well enough. The Rangers are so short with bullpen help. A little bit of a different story when it comes to the offense. It's tough. But yeah, anybody who's on an expiring contract, I'm probably trying to trade. Or at least thinking about it pretty strongly. That doesn't mean everybody goes, and everybody's not going to go. But I'm at least taking phone calls on expiring contracts. Let me put it to you that way. All right. I'm with you, Lulu. I hope that Seager comes back and just absolutely crushes it. That would be so much fun. Smith is definitely a tradable player. I don't know how much value he has, but Smith is definitely a tradable player. 100%. Duran, I think, is a guy you probably keep, but even Duran, I think he's an interesting one. You could argue selling high on Duran, but I just think he is at this point showing you a lot of tools. I don't know if you even consider trading Duran, and he's cheap and controllable. See what happens. All right, y'all. I'm going to hop off. We will probably have a video out to you guys later tonight, by the way, and then we'll preview the series tomorrow in another video. So got a couple of different vids coming to you over the next 24 hours, and then we'll be back tomorrow night, 8th or 9th inning, to talk about hopefully another Rangers win against the Tampa Bay Rays. We are going to really have a much clearer picture, I think, after this Rays series. You know, what are the Rangers really like? What is the makeup of this team? They're playing a really good Rays team on the road. This could be a playoff preview. We'll see what happens, but I'm excited about the series, and I think this week of baseball, definitely important. I think you took some pressure off yourself by winning 3 out of 4 against Seattle. I mean, you would have to really soil the bed this week to not still be in a firm position to buy. You know, really would have to mess things up this week, and I don't see it happening. Let's keep going. Saw somebody tweet that it's a shame that Smitty and Duran haven't been able to play well at the same time. I love Josh Smith. I like Ezequiel Duran a lot too. I think Josh is running out of time, sadly. I think he's running out of time. We'll see if he can pull it together, but this is a great opportunity for him. And, you know, I know he got a hit today. It was kind of a duck fart weak hit, but I think he has got to figure it out. He's got to make the most of this opportunity. It hasn't gone great for him this season, unfortunately. Thoughts on Alejandro Osuna? He's another guy. Like, he's one of my favorite players, but Osuna could be a great trade candidate. I think that he's someone that I'd like to see stick around. But look, I hope that this connects with you guys. Like, if you've watched this show, you know how much I love Alejandro Osuna. I think Osuna is a trade candidate. I think you could make an argument to trade Osuna and open up some other positions. I think that he would definitely be an asset if you kept him, but I think there'd be a lot of teams interested in Osuna. I really think that there would be some teams that would be interested in that bat, and the Rangers kind of have a bit of a logjam in the outfield right now. They do. They've got some outfielders down in the minor leagues doing well. Dylan Dreiling comes to mind. They've got some good outfielders coming up, so it might make sense to trade a guy like Osuna. I would keep him, but that's the fan. That's the bias in me. He's one of my favorite players. I would keep Osuna, but I think the club could be seeing him as a trade chip. How's Nimmo doing? Nimmo's doing pretty well, not crushing it, but Nimmo is having a pretty solid year, I would say. Is it safe to say the Rangers won the Gallo trade? Yes. And the Gallo trade, it's like gone up and down, right? At first, you're like thinking Josh Smith is the reason you won the Gallo trade. Now you're thinking it's Ezequiel Duran. Gallo trade was definitely a good one for the Rangers. And I love Joey Gallo. He and Cawley both have value. Smith and Cawley or Duran and Cawley? Blake, who are we talking about? Yeah, I think Cawley could be another guy. Oh, Osuna. You're talking about Osuna. I got you. Osuna and Cawley, I think, definitely have value. I don't want to see either guy get traded, but I think they do. All right, y'all. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Thank you so much, by the way, for everybody that gave a gift on the show. It's not needed, but much appreciated. And look, even if you didn't, there's so many different ways to support the channel, and just commenting, just hanging out, shooting a like my way. I know a bunch of y'all liked the live while we were going. If you're on YouTube right now, haven't hit that thumbs up button, hit that thumbs up button, please. I appreciate it. Little things, man. There's a lot of little things you can do, and we don't take any of those little things for granted, man. I'm scrolling back on TikTok, just trying to see if I missed anybody who gave a gift here. Let's see. Somebody said I bet on my team and lost. How did you lose? How did you lose? They won. Rangers won, and they won by more than 2. What did you do? Bet? You betting under? Brian, appreciate the gift, man. Thank you. Thank you so much. Not needed. Much appreciated, brother. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. Brad, if you're still hanging out, thank you for the gift. All right. I think I caught up, but if not, I'm going to hit you up in the DMs afterwards. Jack, thank you. Jack, I didn't even know you were hanging out. Dude, what's up with the no comments? Or did I just miss it? Appreciate you, my guy. Always good to see you. Always good. Darnell, appreciate the kind words, man. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your Monday night. And as I always say to end every show, God bless and go Rangers.